Balkanians. Today in this video I will help you to choose the right instance for your mainnet AWS VM server. You know, we got the light paper out, and in the light paper is the specification for the mainnet. So it's 4 CPUs, 8 gigs of memory and 500 gigs of SSD. So now we have to choose the right instance for your VM. So let's start. We'll use the AWS launch instance dashboard. Also, we will be using this AWS Pricing Calculator. I will leave this link for you in the description. You can find it from there. Okay, so let's start. Now that we know the specification, so let's first choose our region. I will just set up in Europe, Stockholm, and then from Find Service you type EC2. In first one you can see here is Amazon EC2. Press Configure and it will then open us this dashboard. So operating system will be Linux. It will be constant usage. Number of instance is 1. And now when we know the specifications, we can then choose from this drop-down menu that it has to have 4 CPUs and 8 gigs of memory, and we can leave this network as it is. So we can already see that these are the right options for us. Also, we can see what is the on-demand hourly cost right here. So this is US dollars. It will cost this much per hour to run your server. But the problem is that not all of these instances are available in that region. Because when we go back to the instance or the dashboard, we click here launch instances. You can see that I am already in Stockholm, and if I choose here as Ubuntu and leave all this as it is, and let's say we want to run this T4G X large. So if we go over here to instance type and we type here T4G and scroll down a bit, T4G X large, you can see that if I click it, it isn't available. So I can't choose that instance. So then I have to look for the second one is C6G. So let's search for C6G. It isn't available for me. I can't choose it. The next one is C5A X large. Let's search for that one, C5A, and scroll a bit down. Here, as you can see, I can choose it, and you really have to compare, because there's you know, tens of different instances, packages you can choose, but you have to pay attention on this on-demand Linux pricing. For C5A X large, it's $0.164 US per hour. So you can already see here that this is the cheapest option for me. Of course, you can go for like T3 X large. If I type here T3 and scroll up a bit down, you can see that I can choose T3 X large too, but it's a bit more expensive than the C5A. So you really need to compare of the pricing of the packages. Another way you can do it is, now when we know that we have to use 4 CPUs, you can type in the search box here like 4 vCPU. Now it will give you all the options that has 4 CPUs in it, and all these that are grayed out are unavailable for you. So when you browse these packages, you can see here the on-demand Linux pricing is T3 X large is 0.1728 and C5 large is 0.182, so it's a bit more expensive than the T3. And again, we can see the C5A package, the on-demand Linux pricing is $0.164 US per hour. So for me in this Stockholm region, this package is cheapest one for me. So I will just choose that one. And also in the AWS Pricing Calculator, when you choose the C5A X large from here, you will see how much is the estimated monthly cost for your instance. If you scroll a bit down, if you have it in a compute savings plans, click here on the on-demand box, and you can now see that it's almost $120 per month, but we haven't added any SSD to it. So let's click on this Amazon Elastic Block Store, and we will choose General Purpose SSD 2, and we know that we have to use 500 gigabytes of SSD, so let's type 500 right here, and you can now see that my estimated monthly cost for this server would be $171 or almost $172. So you can plan a bit for your expenses you have to run your node on. So if we go back to the launch instance, I have my C5A X large here already chosen. I will just go with this one because this is just for a demonstration. And you can use your key pair file, the existing one you already created when you followed my earlier video with the VM creation. So you can just it should be listed right here. If you click here, it should be listed and you can choose it. So you don't have to create another key pair file for you. And for this security group, let's select the existing one like we did before, and we choose this default, as you should have all the ports already open in this group. So we will choose default, and now we will configure the storage. We will add 500 and make sure it says the GB2. And now we're done. We're just going to name this as test. So we will have Ubuntu 22.04 and architecture is 64-bit. Instance type for me is C5A X large. I will use my existing keeper file and we will use the existing default security group and 500 gigs of SSD. And now we will just choose launch instance. And you can already see that it's a success. Now if I go back to my instances, you can see that my C5A X large VM server is already running. And if we go to storage, you can see that it's attached with 500 gigs of SSD volume. So that's it. That's how you will choose the right instance for you and the cheapest one.